Do you feel like you're stuck, not reaching your full potential, or letting setbacks hold you back? Imagine seeing every challenge as a chance to grow and every setback as a step forward. In this video, we explore the growth mindset path to personal development through the teachings of Miyamoto Musashi, a famous swordsman. Lesson 1. Reframe setbacks as data points. We will always face setbacks on our way to personal growth. These can be mistakes, failures, or just unexpected problems that take us off track. But we don't have to see these setbacks as proof that we're not good enough or as reasons to give up. The first step on the growth mindset path is to see setbacks as data points instead of defeats. This way of thinking helps us learn, adapt, and grow from each experience, moving forward with resilience instead of discouragement. Imagine that every mistake you made was just a lesson that helped you get better. Miyamoto Musashi, a famous Japanese swordsman and philosopher, lived by a code that praised hard work, discipline, and learning. He taught that every battle, whether won or lost, gave him important information that helped him improve his skills and strategy. For Musashi, a setback wasn't a sign to give up. It was an opportunity to improve his approach, strengthen his mind, and get ready for the next challenge. Having this mindset is a key part of having a growth-oriented view of personal development. If you think of setbacks as data points, you can look at each challenge as a chance to learn something new. For example, if you've been rejected, you can look at the situation objectively and ask yourself questions like, what did I learn about my approach? Where can I improve? Or, how can I use this experience to grow stronger? This way of thinking changes rejection from something that gets in the way of your progress into something that helps you learn more about yourself and get better. This way of thinking also encourages curiosity instead of self-judgment. When setbacks are seen as data points, the pressure to do perfect goes away and is replaced by a willingness to try new things, analyze them, and get better. It's about gathering information, noticing patterns, and using this knowledge to grow. As Musashi said, think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. This wisdom tells us not to take failures personally and instead focus on the valuable lessons each experience can teach us. Also, seeing setbacks as learning opportunities makes you more resilient. This way of thinking makes you less likely to give up because you know that one setback doesn't define your journey. Instead, each mistake helps you learn more, which makes you more determined to reach your goals. Musashi often talked about this kind of resilience when he stressed how important it was to endure the hardships of training and battle, knowing that the strength gained from hardship was priceless. The data point mindset is a powerful tool because it changes your focus from results to processes. Instead of defining success as only reaching a goal, you start to value the lessons and skills you've gained along the way. This helps you see your journey as a continuous path of growth, where each data point, every setback, plays a part in making you better. By adopting this view, you become more flexible, open to change, and ultimately more capable of reaching your full potential. If we follow Musashi's philosophy and see setbacks as learning opportunities, we can turn them into ways to grow and develop. This way of thinking helps us see life's challenges through the lens of learning and strive for improvement in everything we do. With each reframed setback, we learn more about ourselves, sharpen our strengths, and become better equipped to navigate the path of personal development with a resilient, growth-oriented mindset. Lesson 2. Cultivate curiosity over competence. Focusing only on competence, on getting the answers right, being perfect, or being good enough, can stop us from growing. Miyamoto Musashi's approach to mastery, on the other hand, teaches us to use curiosity as a driving force, reminding us that the journey is just as important as the destination. When we put curiosity above competence, we open ourselves up to endless learning and let a growth mindset grow. Musashi thought that keeping a beginner mindset, even after learning a lot of skills, kept us sharp, flexible, and open to new ideas. Even though he was a famous samurai, he studied art and calligraphy in addition to swordsmanship. This dedication to exploration over mere accomplishment shows how curious Musashi was. He knew that developing a well-rounded mind would make his main skill better. When we keep our minds curious, we're not limited by what we know. We become excited by what we don't know, which fuels our drive to keep learning and growing. Life throws us curveballs all the time, and when we're curious instead of relying on what we already know, we become stronger when things go wrong. When you're curious, you see problems as puzzles to be solved instead of problems to be avoided. This makes it easier to take risks, try new things, and make changes without worrying about looking like you don't know what you're doing. By doing this, you build not only knowledge but also mental flexibility that helps you deal with different challenges and opportunities. A curious mind also helps us see what things could be instead of just how things are. Musashi's never-ending search for new ideas and techniques shows how a curious mind can push you to question your limits. He didn't just repeat skills to show he was good at them. He kept improving them, which added new dimensions to his understanding of the art of swordsmanship. When we approach our own lives with the same spirit of inquiry, we start looking for ways to improve, adjust, and reinvent ourselves without feeling limited by our current level of competence. One useful way to become more curious is to ask questions and look for different points of view. Don't try to be the smartest person in the room. Instead, try to be the most open-minded. Ask yourself things like, what else can I learn about this? Or how can I see this situation from a different angle? By training yourself to ask questions, you keep your mind active and open to all the growth opportunities around you. Being curious about other people makes us more empathetic and understanding. Musashi's wisdom stresses how important it is to understand people, whether in battle, in relationships, or in everyday life. This approach, which is driven by curiosity, builds strong connections and adds a level of personal growth that competence alone can't provide. In a world that often values knowing over learning, a curious mind stands out as both flexible and genuinely interested. As a reminder, knowledge is not static. Instead of trying to be good enough, aim to be endlessly curious, always ready to dive into new topics, test new skills, and explore unknown territories. Musashi's way of mastery was to keep learning and stay humble, even when he was at the top of his game. By accepting this lesson, we start to see personal development not as a destination, but as a journey powered by the never-ending search for knowledge and understanding. Lesson 3. Redefine success as personal evolution. People usually think of accomplishments and awards as signs of success, but a growth mindset encourages us to see success as personal growth. Musashi's life exemplified this idea. His success wasn't just his battle wins, but also his ongoing growth and mastery of mind and spirit. Focusing on internal growth instead of external validation is key to redefining success as personal evolution. Instead of comparing yourself to others to see how successful you are, ask yourself, am I growing? Am I learning? This will make success a personal journey of improvement that shows how strong, resilient, and wise you've become. Musashi saw mastery as an ongoing process. He was always looking for ways to get better. He knew that beating an opponent wasn't the real victory, but getting past one's own limitations. If we take this view, we can see success as a continuous process of becoming better than we were yesterday. It's about valuing growth over winning and understanding over accomplishment. When we think of success as personal growth, we take the pressure off of meeting outside standards and can grow at our own pace. This lets us focus on our own journey, enjoying small wins and steady progress. This way, success isn't a destination, but a fulfilling journey that lasts a lifetime. And each step forward is part of our personal growth. Lesson 4. Practice micro-resilience daily. Many people think of resilience as a big trait, the ability to deal with life's hardest problems. But Musashi's philosophy reminds us that we can practice resilience in small, everyday ways. These are the small things that make us mentally tough over time. The choices to keep going, to adapt, or to try again even when it's hard. Micro-resilience is the skill of getting back up after a small setback. Every time we overcome a small challenge, we train ourselves to handle bigger ones with more ease. Musashi's discipline was a form of micro-resilience. He trained hard every day because he knew that true mastery came from repeated effort and persistence in practice. Think of micro-resilience as working out a muscle. Every time we choose to keep going, even when we don't feel like it, we're strengthening that muscle. It could be as simple as finishing a project or doing something you've been putting off. Each act of micro-resilience adds up and makes you mentally stronger, better able to deal with life's bigger problems. We build up our resilience over time by practicing micro-resilience every day. When bigger problems come up, we are ready because we have trained ourselves to stay grounded and focused. As Musashi said, "Do nothing that is of no use." Every small act of resilience has a purpose. It strengthens your spirit, sharpens your focus, and brings you closer to mastery. Lesson 5. See criticism as a mirror. Even though criticism can be painful, Musashi saw it as a way to learn more about oneself. He thought that feedback, even from enemies, could be used to see one's strengths and weaknesses. When we look at criticism in this way, it becomes a useful tool for growth. Don't be afraid of or angry at criticism. See it as a chance to learn something. Every piece of feedback can show us something about ourselves and how we can improve. Musashi didn't avoid the truth. He looked for it, even if it meant facing his flaws. He knew that real strength came from having the courage to look within, accept feedback, and change. Try to separate your ego from criticism and see it as a fair reflection of your actions. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? And how can I improve? This way of thinking turns criticism into a powerful tool for personal growth. By seeing criticism as a mirror, you gain the humility to see where you need to improve and the strength to make those changes. This way of doing things makes you stronger and more self-aware. With each constructive criticism, you learn more about yourself and come to see feedback as an important part of your growth. Musashi's teachings remind us that being open to growth and accepting criticism is not a sign of weakness. Lesson 6. Embrace yet as a mindset. There is a lot of power in the word yet. Adding yet to your language helps you remember that you are growing and that problems are only temporary. For example, if you say, "I can't do this," add yet to the end of the sentence to say, "I can't do this yet." Musashi thought that mastery is a journey, and he didn't get to his legendary level of skill overnight. He saw every setback and limitation as a part of his yet, or a stage on his way to mastery. He thought that with time and effort, he could learn any skill and overcome any challenge. The yet mindset makes you patient and pushes you to keep going, knowing that you can always get better. This way of thinking frees you from self-doubt and tells you that growth isn't about being perfect all the time, but about making progress all the time. When you accept yet, you let yourself grow at your own pace. Every limitation becomes a goal instead of a barrier. In Musashi's life, his accomplishments weren't signs that he had arrived. They were just steps on a never-ending path of self-improvement. This way of thinking gives you the power to see potential where others see limitations, which drives you to keep growing. Lesson 7. Find growth in mundane tasks. Musashi thought that the key to true mastery was to find purpose and mindfulness in every action, even in things that didn't seem important at the time. He saw everyday tasks as chances to grow, knowing that being disciplined in the little things led to being disciplined in the big things. This is one of the most important lessons for developing a growth mindset. Approaching every activity with intention and presence is the key to finding growth in everyday tasks. Whether you're cleaning, organizing, or practicing a skill, see each one as a chance to improve yourself and your mind. Musashi said that every action, no matter how small, adds to your overall discipline and focus. Give your full attention to every job as you go about your daily life. Focus on one thing at a time, pay attention to the details, and enjoy the process. By putting in a lot of effort into everyday tasks, you'll learn how to do well in any situation. Everyday growth in small ways builds resilience and discipline. According to Musashi, mastery is in the details, in being able to approach every task, no matter how big or small, with a commitment to excellence. This way of thinking turns everyday life into a training ground for growth, turning every moment into a chance to improve your skills, strengthen your character, and boost your spirit. Personal growth comes from being disciplined, strong, and open to new experiences. The growth mindset and Musashi's teachings show us that every moment is a chance to learn, push ourselves, and change. Personal development is not a place you get to, but a journey you take to learn more about yourself and change. We can honor Musashi's philosophy of mastery and reach our full potential by seeing setbacks as opportunities to grow, being curious, and seeing each task as a chance to do so. This path requires patience, courage, and commitment, but Musashi teaches us that the rewards of self-mastery and inner strength are well worth the journey. Let us walk this path with an open heart, a curious mind, and unwavering resolve, knowing that the journey itself is the reward.